Hi, thanks for joining me in another video. With me today is the 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 4MATIC. This is Mercedes' second model on their premium class electric architecture, so let's check it out. A quick note of transparency. Up until now, all vehicles I reviewed have been borrowed from an owner or rented. This vehicle is lent to me by Mercedes, but they don't have any input in this review. Going forward, my review videos will be marked in the beginning to indicate where the vehicle was sourced from. Let's talk about the car. The EQE is more compact than its EQS sibling, but you'll find a lot of similarities between the two of them. It also comes in cheaper, starting at $74,900. Still a bit high, but it's what you expect in the luxury vehicle category. Compared to other non-Mercedes luxury EVs, this base price is similar to the Lucid Air Touring, the electrified Genesis G80, and the Tesla Model S. There are 3 models to choose from, and separately there's also the AMG EQE Sedan. So there is the EQE 350 Plus, EQE 350 4MATIC, and the EQE 500 4MATIC Sedan. Each offers 3 trims, Premium, Exclusive, and Pinnacle. The vehicle behind me is loaded with extra packages and features that we'll see shortly. Depending on the model configuration, you can get a range up of 298 miles according to the EPA ratings. This vehicle is stated to do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and has a power output of 288 horsepower. Alright, let's take a look around the car. As I mentioned before, the EQE is more compact than the EQS, so that means the wheelbase is slightly shorter. It comes in at 122.8 inches overall. The EQE also has shorter overhangs and front end. It has a length of 196.9 inches and a width of 82.8 inches with mirrors. It was easier to fit in the garage than the EQS, so I have a little more space between the car and the garage door. It has rounded curves, a large black panel with a star design, and a tail light bar running across the rear. This vehicle has the added AMG line exterior package, so we can see high gloss black colors with chrome trim along the front bumper and splitter. It's also on the rear with a diffuser look inserts and side skirts. We're also upgraded to the 20-inch AMG 5-spoke wheels with matte gray accents. The EQE has those fancy retractable handles, so they pop out when you unlock or approach the vehicle. Unfortunately, there isn't a frunk, so we don't have that extra storage. Some people utilize the frunk spaces and others don't, so it's not a big deal. Personally, I use it frequently for anything that potentially can carry a smell. So let's see what we're working with in the trunk. Come on. Unlike the EQS trunk hatch, here we have a regular powered trunk lid. Inside, we're looking at 15 cubic feet of cargo capacity. This is something we don't see often on a sedan. It's power folding seats with control on the lid. So we press the button and the seats fold down. That's cool. This is great, as now we've expanded our capacity to store longer items. However, if we're not putting those seats down, how well would luggage fit back here? Let's see. Alright, I have 1 check-in size and then 3 carry-on luggage sizes. So let's do the bigger one. This up here, the smaller one. This is our charging case. Let me put it on the side for a second. It's our other small luggage. A duffel bag over here. Adjust this. Alright, not bad. We still have room to spare. Something else could fit here, so it's not too bad. I feel like starting from the opening and going to the interior, it becomes narrower, so it'll be difficult to store wider items. All right, let's close it. The interior presents itself in a lavish and techy fashion. In the center is the 12.9-inch display, and in the front of the driver, a 12.3-inch screen. Equipped inside is the AMG Line Black trim and this nice natural wood with black print along the dash. We've got a mix of screen controls with a few buttons below and some on the steering wheel. There's a seat silhouette on the side door for our seat adjustments. I forgot this was there when I first got into the car. I was struggling to figure out why there was only lumbar supports on the seats. It's just not the first place you'd look when adjusting the seats. I figured it out quickly. Anyway, for storage up here, I see 2 folding cup holders in the center console and a small space underneath. The center armrest opens up as well with the push of a button. Ambient lighting is everywhere in this car. It might be a little distracting to some during the night. It looks really cool, but I don't know if I'd want that always on. These accent lights go around the entire front of the car. There's a light setting that animates when you are accelerating, decelerating, and doing a launch. During the day, it's not nearly as distracting. The other less active ambient lighting is really nice in this car too. Lastly, over my head is a panorama roof with a sunshade you can retract. Alright, let's take a moment to see what we have for tech. There are 4 USB-C ports for charging up your phone in the front and a wireless charger in this space. There's also wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The huge screen is nice when you have navigation running and for the rear camera. Navigating through the menus isn't too intuitive. I had to spend some time learning where I need to go to find certain settings. When you finally learn how to use the screen, you'll see that there are a lot of settings and adjustments. We can play with the lighting scheme, schedule charging, and adjust a lot of driving settings. When navigating, the car will show a live view of the front camera and have 3D floating arrows pointing to where you need to turn. Navigation updates can also be seen on the heads-up display as well. I did have the heads-up display glitch out on me once, and it just showed static. Not sure what that was about. Another add-on feature is the ability to have puddle lights with the Mercedes emblem on the outside of the car, and the headlights project a little animation when the car is turned off and on. While in reverse, the car illuminates the ground on its sides to give you better visibility out of your mirrors at night. In the back seat, there's a good amount of legroom. You have 2 hidden USB-C ports down here. Even though the vehicle is smaller than the EQS, the interior is still spacious. However, if you're taller than me, you might end up hitting your head on the side here. These seats are very comfy and would be great on a long drive. We have a mostly flat floor, so your center passenger should also be comfortable. First off, I'm happy to report that there is a true one-pedal driving experience in this car. There's also other options for recuperation levels, which you can adjust with each paddle on the back side of the steering wheel. The first level is no recuperation, and that's when you let off the pedal, the car will continue to coast, much like in a gas car. You can bump it up to normal or strong recuperation, and then there's also an intelligent recuperation mode. In order to get one-pedal driving, you'll have to turn creep mode off in the settings. This will make your car not coast forward and it'll come to a stop. My preference is to have it on strong recuperation with creep mode off to get that true EV feel. There are different ways to maximize your energy efficiency here and there. Like in your range menu, you can adjust eco settings, or in driving modes, you can change it to eco. There are other driving modes to choose from, like sport, comfort, or you could personalize your own. The view from the back window is limited. It's not great. The window in the back is a narrow sliver, so when I'm backing up the car, I rely a little bit more on that backup camera. Thumbs up for the comfort in here. The seats are high quality and there are a lot of seating position adjustments. The cabin noise is super minimal and the road noise is really dampened. It's so quiet compared to other cars I've driven. The drive is also really smooth with that added aromatic air suspension. It glides over uneven roads and surfaces. What I've noticed is when the car is adjusting its air suspension, it's kind of noisy outside. Or if you're driving slowly, you can hear the suspension adjusting. The 350 focuses on delivering a more tranquil drive and it's not aggressive. That instant acceleration is still there as an EV, but it's not like it's rocketing out of here. So it's more on the graceful side rather than the hardcore performance. For any of the trims, you can upgrade to 4.5 or 10-degree rear axle steering. This particular car is equipped with 10-degree rear steering, which helps with stability and maneuvering the car. So it gives you a smaller turning radius. Above 37 miles per hour, the rear wheels can steer up to 3 degrees in either direction. The parking assist does pretty well, but it's rather slow. I've had this feature in other cars, but I don't use it too often. Phoenix doesn't have a lot of parallel parking, so that's probably where I'd use it the most. Alright, turning on parking assist and driving forward to find a parking space. Alright, there's one. Oh, just passed it. If I can find another one, let's try this one. Okay, then we have to press this button to start it. Oh, not exactly matching in between the parking space, so we're gonna adjust. Still have our turning arrow on. There we go, backing up. Aligning here in the center. Oh, that was a harsh brake. Okay. So other than parking assist, the car also comes standard with a lot of other driving assistant features. If you buy the driver assistant package, you'll get things like active lane change assist and active steering assist. I currently have the speed limit set to 70 and I also have lane changing assist on. Here we have a little curve on the freeway, and we're just following along between the lanes. Oh, there it is, making a lane change on its own. Okay, I don't know why it's making a lane change. It doesn't indicate as to there's like slower traffic or it's trying to speed up. So I'm not sure what the point of changing that lane was. We were fine in the middle, so now we're kind of in the fast lane and I want to move over actually. So I'll just indicate that I want to make a right, and it's moving for me. Okay, and then I have to turn it off. On a different section of the freeway, there were two lanes that were merging, and it stayed a little bit more to the left lane, and it did swerve a little bit, trying to figure out where the lanes were, but it wasn't too bad. It's actually a little bit better than Tesla Autopilot. When the lanes merge, the car kind of swerves. It's like, where am I going? And then it finally finds its lane. All right, switching over to the right. So this one makes sense why we're moving over to the right, because we're going to exit in 1 mile. Since this is a 4MATIC car, we've got a motor on the front and rear axle. Interestingly, the permanently excited synchronous motors has 2 windings with 3 phases each, so it's got a 6-phase motor. It's able to output 288 horsepower with 391 foot-pounds of torque, so it's decently quick as I mentioned during our drive. Mercedes has a lot of pride in their battery pack they built for their EQ cars. While they use a traditional nickel manganese cobalt chemistry, they've worked to reduce the amount of cobalt required in the mix. The 90 kilowatt-hour pack is divided into 10 modules which can be heated or cooled for optimal performance in charging. Because of the weight of the car and the size of the battery pack, this isn't the most efficient sedan out there, getting only 90 miles per gallon equivalent. For charging, we have a 9.6 kilowatt onboard charger. This should fill up your car in around 9 to 10 hours when plugged into a level 2 EVSE. It also features battery preconditioning for fast charging. You can activate this feature by setting the navigation to go to a DC fast charger like EVgo or Electrify America, and it'll automatically start preparing the battery for charging. On a fast charger, the car is expected to be able to have a peak rate of 170 kilowatts and do 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes. An added bonus feature is that this car is ready for plug-in charge, so you can just plug in and walk away. Lastly, we also have an eco charging mode. This limits the state of charge to 80% and will limit the fast charging speed to only 100 kilowatts. This isn't making your fueling more eco-friendly, but rather preserving the battery's health. I've done both freeway and street driving and brought the battery percentage from 100 down to 10%. We drove 286 miles on this charge. The EPA estimated range for this vehicle is 280 miles on a full charge. So that means we're exceeding expectations and we still have 36 estimated miles left. We preconditioned the car on the way over, and the car says its max charging rate right now is 163 kilowatts. I've never seen a car actively tell me what its charging rate will be, so that's neat. That's a little short of our 170 kilowatts we're expecting, but it could improve while the batteries heat up during charging. So let's plug into these 350 kilowatt fast chargers and see how it does. Our charging rate was quickly rising when we plugged in. We hit a peak of 172 kilowatts, but then started to decrease shortly after. We were sustaining quick rates above 100 kilowatts until we hit 72%. Overall, this is a pretty good looking charging curve. Our total charging time was 32 minutes and our cost with tax was $43.93. Let's see how the EQE did. On the plus side, it delivered a comfortable and smooth ride. It had a nice upscale and really quiet interior. Also, it has a preconditioning feature to get your battery ready for charging, so we had a nice and smooth charging curve. Lastly, we have regenerative braking level options, including one-pedal capabilities. On the not great side, the visibility through the rear window was restricted and the storage capacity is limited. You also can't easily open the front hood even if you wanted to. If you're tall, the top of your head may touch the roof or side of the door because of the low roof line. During our test, the range and charging rate did meet what Mercedes claimed. However, the range still sits on the so-so side, as it falls short compared to its competitors like the Tesla Model S or the Lucid Air. Also, the charging rate compared to its battery size should be higher. Thanks for spending time with me today. Have an EV I can review? Email me at info@kaizev.com. Follow us on social media at KaizeV, and support our channel and check out our sticker shop. Kai is my dog. That's all for now, and happy charging.